Hello dear students, in this advanced part where we are learning about remarketing, the first set of points which I would like to discuss is about taking you through again with the previous points we have seen in the free course, where we started with creating an AdWords account and knowing the concept of search ads, as well as knowing about what is SEM or search engine marketing and what is PPC or pay per click. Indeed, would like to suggest you that if any one of you have not seen the first free course related to remarketing, please go forward and do the same, so as all the topics which are written here in front of you are easily understood to you. Thus, passing the process of getting started with AdWords, we went on and had learned the basic concept like what is a click, what is an impression, that is each and every time when an ad is seen, it is defined in digital marketing as impression. Then we had seen the concept of CTR, that is click-through rate, which is indeed a ratio of clicks divided by impressions. Really important to judge as to how good we have created an ad, that can be determined through CTR. Then we had seen the concept of what are the variety of ads possible, like what are search ads, what are display ads, how do they differ from each other. And we have even seen the concept of CPC and CPM, or indeed VCPM, that is viewable cost per 1000 impressions, and another concept of CPC, that is cost per click. Together with that, we had even understood the structure of an account, that how do we organize the data in our account in the form of the topmost level starting from account, followed by creating multiple campaigns in one account, followed by creating multiple ad groups in one campaign, and finally the last level where we create ads and have other targeting method related to that particular ad group. Going ahead from there, we had seen the concept of remarketing, what remarketing means, how it is done. While seeing the concept of remarketing, we had understood that remarketing is a method through which we can reconnect with our visitors and show them ads basis the products or services they have viewed on our website. So we first captured the visitors with the help of a code. We had seen that method of implementing a code, and then we create campaign for remarketing. We had seen that process as well, that how do we create the campaign, how do we add the people to remarketing, and how do we get started with it. In that complete element, one additional point which I would like to share is giving you the conceptual idea about the process of remarketing indeed. And to do that, let me explain to you with the help of a nice representation of a diagram as to what is actually happening at the back end in the process of remarketing. We'll indeed see that details because we have seen the practical part of implementation divided into elements of code implementation and capturing the user. We had even seen the part of creation of ad there, that once we have successfully captured the user, which would be the ad shown to them. But I believe a bit more conceptual understanding will help make the element more clear. Thus, here is a simple explanation with the help of a diagram, giving us the knowledge regarding knowing the process which is happening at the back end. So we have known that we have a code which is provided to us in the interface of AdWords. That code is to be implemented on all web pages. Once that code is active on all web pages, because we intend to show remarketing ads to users based on the product or service they have browsed. Thus, whenever the visitor comes on your website, that code drops a cookie on that visitor's browser. What a cookie is? Indeed, cookie is a small script file which gets triggered by the code of your website, and it is a file which is indeed collecting some information regarding your activity happening on the browser. And this cookie initiates or helps in the process of remarketing because it captures that activity of the end user and tells AdWords that there is a person A who has visited a website abc.com, and you need to go forward and show him or her ads based on the kind of web page they have visited. Thus, the cookie captures the code when the visitor is on the website, and then you create an ad group in which you target these people that we have seen previously. That you go forward and create a specific campaign in which there is a ad group created for remarketing, and in the methodology for targeting you use the name of all visitors as a list for doing the same. So this is the conceptual part of the cookie coming in picture. You can understand cookie like kind of a barcode or like kind of a temporary storage where your habits regarding browsing, your habits regarding visited one website and then visiting other websites. So it acts as a kind of a bridge between AdWords, the advertiser, and you, to help AdWords understand that you had been an end user on a particular advertiser's website and now to follow you on other locations and show you ads. So that's the process of how remarketing works in a conceptual manner. We are going to see some other revision points and then jump in with the newer set of concepts around understanding a lot of finer elements as well as other advanced mechanisms but indeed in our next set of tutorial. Thank you. Dear learner, in continuation with our process of understanding about remarketing, if you recall, we had even seen how we can create an ad in an ad group for remarketing. In that process, I had indeed shown ideally a manual way of creating an ad. What I am going to do in this particular video is share with you a nice inside trick wherein just by entering the URL of your website, you could go forward and have an ad readily created from the tool of AdWords, wherein you are just required then to enter some basic details. So the steps to do the same is, in your interface, you need to be under your ad groups tab. There you need to go forward and click on one of the ad group. In that, you will be then landing on the ads tab where there will be a plus ad sign. In that, you need to select the second option below responsive ad known as image ad. So once I click on image ad, I'll see this page where I'll enter the URL, like let's say Eduonix.tv, and then click on the tab of create an ad. So it will automatically scan the website. There it will find any image related to the product or service. So like here you can see on Eduonix.tv website, there is this main image which has a lot of different icons of training topics being shown. So it has scanned that particular image and it is showing it. If it would have found a logo, it would add that as well. Or else we have this edit icon here, with the help of which we can even go forward and add any other image. So herein it is having a lot of other images. So if I believe I want to choose any one of them, I can add that as well. And if I want to use any other images on my system, I could upload it from my system, or there are even ready collection of stock images on other sites, so I could enter that and select that as well. So that's a nice way of using this tool So here in, for example, let's say I want to use this image, so it will ask me which particular area should be used. I click on continue, and then that image would be seen instead of the other image. And similarly, I could even add a logo or add an image or use any particular image as a logo as well. So let's say this image I want to use as a logo, then it will ask me the area to select from it, and once I click on continue, it will add that as a logo itself. So this is the process of how one can create nice set of image ads, and then one could add the text out here accordingly. So here we have to create a short headline which should be within 25 characters. Then we have to follow with creation of some description as well as a long headline. And finally, we can have our business name. So here I'll add on, for example, Eduonix. So ideally, I'm showing this as an example. We need to make sure when we are making actually a live ad, we are ourselves having the permission to advertise for that particular company, as well as we have to ensure that if we use a trademark term or a term which is a brand name of an organization, in that scenario we should have the written permission from them to use it, because it is not allowed for all advertisers to use any brand name or any trademark term. So like maybe I want to put in a term like Google training, so I cannot do that myself because Google is itself a trademark and registered company. So that is something which we need to be careful while creating the ad. And then there are the basic points of how to make an ad more descriptive. I believe I have given some background of it in the previous course, but herein, as we are doing this ad again, let me put on those points. The first and foremost thing is you should be putting the unique selling proposition which makes your company different from others. Like herein I can say for Eduonix there are 500k plus students. So that is something which makes it unique. Together with that, there are 1000 plus hours of content which is there, and similarly there is more than 1000 plus reviews about their various courses, and there are courses in different set of fields like technology, digital marketing and others. So even I could add those points. So one needs to make them stand out in the ad from other advertisers. And similarly, pass entering your unique selling idea. Make sure when we are making an image ad, we try to make it short and crisp. We try to make it clear and concise, while not forgetting the part of having a call to action at the end. So if this is the last line of my ad, I would add a call to action that enroll for a course today or enroll for a course. So that's a nice way of creating an ad, and these ads are now available in a responsive format. What responsive ad means is that depending on the size of the screen as well as depending on the area where the ad is going to be shown, there would be multiple varieties created through a single ad. Like a single ad could show image and text both together, or there would be only text seen in an ad, or there could be also many a times where there is major part of image shown at the top followed by some text shown at the bottom. So this is a nice step done in Google AdWords, wherein you need not create multiple ads to suit different platforms and suit different size of devices. One ad suffices all of it at one go. So once we would have created this, the next step would be to save the same, and with that we have learned or revised the basic part of remarketing ad creation. With that being said, I'll end through this tutorial. We'll see further set of details in the next video. Thank you. Great. So moving ahead, past seeing the concept of remarketing, let us once again jump into the interface of AdWords, and in the interface see the process which we have learned, but in which there are finer details to be understood from our end. So just to revise from the perspective of steps, for getting started with remarketing, we went into this hidden location in the interface. There we went to the part of shared library, within which there is the sub tab of audiences, in which we started with the process of creating a remarketing list. When we did it for the very first time, there was the first page asking us to click on setup remarketing, which then gave us a code to be implemented on our web pages. And once that is done, there is the data collected out here, and by default there is one list only created in the name of all visitors. The reason why I am showing this tab again is because there are some other points to be known about the same. Thus, in this section of audiences, by default there is the audiences created of the name all visitors. It is as a type of website which has a status as being open, which means that there are people who are getting captured in this list. If the membership status shows as close, it means there are people not captured in the list. So by default, since the time you implement the code, by this particular audience of the name all visitors is mostly open, and it keeps on capturing users and gives you some data known as list size. So list size indicates the total number of people who can be targeted on different platforms, because ads are shown on display network, that is display ads are shown, as well as search ads are shown when someone searches on Google, and there are ads which we see on YouTube, as well as there is possibility of showing ads to the users on display network in the form of even Gmail, that is seeing ads when you are viewing emails. The user gets captured on our site, and then that person can be targeted on all these different platforms, and in all, what is the count of that user is something which can be seen with this number here in all visitors. That's the power of remarketing, that it captures the visitor on your site and then it can target ads to them on all the different platforms of Google itself. So this is some basic element which is there in the interface. Also, capturing of the user is in real time, thus you will be always seeing, if you have implemented the code properly, there would be a green mark and it would show you the time when the last time they have detected the tag, and it is mostly a difference of half an hour or maximum 1 hour, and thus they are checking indeed that you have the code active and the number of visitors is getting captured. Apart from it, there is some other part also of creating a remarketing list, which is another concept we are going to see in detail in the further tutorials. But just to give an overview, apart from selecting all visitors or capturing all the people who are visiting our site, there may be a requirement at a further level to show ads to specific visitors of specific sections, and there is where the concept of remarketing list would come in picture and help us create subsets with the help of some simple filter based rules or simple filtering mechanism depending on the kind of pattern of the URL of our web page. That's something really interesting, wherein then there will be list which will be of the type known as rule based. So here, if I share with you this particular example, here is a rule based list. Under the type as website, you can see the name rule based, and here there is the element of what is the name of the section of a website you want to capture. So here I want to capture just visitors who are seeing the computer section of a web page, thus it is named as so. What's the detailed process? We'll definitely have a look through, not at this juncture, but at a later juncture when it's the right time. Apart from it, in relation with all visitors, if you go forward and click on that audience, you'll be able to find out as to what are the people there and what all are the campaigns and ad groups where you are using them. And to show this in another live campaign element, here if I click on the all visitors list, I could find that there are these all different set of people who are related to that particular campaign. There is some details as to the location where these users would be mostly coming from, their age group and other insight. And together with that, I will also see the change in the list size, that is how many people are coming or going from the list, and even the element of that graph on a 30-day basis, on a 90-day basis, or even on a 6-month basis. So this helps me understand and realize as to how is the fluctuation on the number of people coming to my site and different website sections, and is my list size increasing, are the website visitors increasing, or are the website visitors decreasing. These are few nice insights which we can see. Apart from it, there is even other part to understand regarding all these tabs as to in-market audience, affinity audience, and what all is the targeting about my list. So just to give you a simple clarity, what is happening here is, basis the people who are getting captured on my list, the algorithm or the cookie which has been triggered on the user's browser, that is also classifying the user as to where are they mostly coming from, like which is the location from where these people are becoming a part of my list, which is the kind of device they are using to visit my site, which is the gender of those people majorly, as well as what are the other likings of those people. Means these are people who are interested in web design and development, these are people who are interested in knowing about SEO and SEM, as well as these are people who are interested in beauty product or interested in health and environment in the form of green living. There's some great insights as to knowing my target audience better, because every marketer wants to get a deeper insight of his end user, and through the capturing of that end user, depending on their behavior on your site and on other sites, here is more finite list given so as you can make changes to your campaign depending on the same. So let's say I am someone who is targeting people through this list for learning about digital marketing, and I understand that my end user also has an interest in web design and development. I could go forward and create a separate course for it, and then even do advertising and marketing for that course, and my same prospect or my same to be customer can be converted to enroll for two set of courses, one for digital marketing, other one for web design and development. So these are some cool insights which are there in the captured data. The more you interpret and understand them, the more you can get closer to your end user. Apart from it, definitely there is lots more to be learned about remarketing list and stuff, which we'll see through in the further tutorial. Thank you. Hello students. Moving ahead in our learning quest, we have indeed understood a really nice set of steps around remarketing and creating ads. The next thing which we need to know is about something known as remarketing list. While we have discussed this point a bit before and I have shown you this tab in the interface, but here is some more insights around it. From definition perspective, this is what remarketing list means. It is a collection of website visitors or app users Once we have created remarketing list, we need to add them to our campaigns and add group targeting so that we can show ads to visitors or users on that list. What it means indeed is when we want to do further set of targeting with remarketing, just implementing the code on all pages of the site and showing ads to users will not be something effective. What that means is when we start with the basic process of remarketing, therein, with the help of the users who are collected through that code, they are all getting captured in one same block or in one same list known as all users. But a typical scenario for a website could be quite a lot different. Means, for example, if it is an electronic store website, there the person who has viewed the product of TV should be put under a remarketing list separate for viewers of TV. A person who has viewed a product of a mobile phone should be kept in a separate remarketing list under mobile phone. And thus, to do that comes in the concept of remarketing list. To give you another set of example, let us look at this scenario. On the website of Eduonix, I can see or anyone can know that there are various courses and all the courses fall under separate category which you can see on this screen. Here, if I am doing normal remarketing process, what would happen is I can show the user a generic ad just telling them to sign up for any course. Therein, I don't have the power to show an ad to the user who has seen the software development section, only an ad related to software development courses. Or similarly, a user who has seen mobile development section, show him only courses related to that. So therein comes the concept of remarketing list, where we separate the users or we create list based on ideally the pattern of the URL or logically based on the different sections which they may have visited of a website. To do that, the process is that we go in our interface in the same location where we had created the normal all visitors list, or ideally in correct terms wherein the normal list of all visitors was directly created. Here, when we want to create list separate for different sections, the steps to do it is as follows. We click on the plus remarketing list sign. There we select the option of website visitors, and once we do that, it gives a form asking us the name of the list as well as asking us what is the methodology basis which we want to add people to this list. And then once we complete that description, it will ask us to save the same, and from the complete pool of visitors which are getting captured by the code on all pages of the site, depending on the rule or condition which we specify on this page, there will be specific ads shown to those set of visitors basis the product or service section which they have visited. So for example, if I was creating this for Eduonix only, as I had shown you that site itself, so I would say Eduonix.tv website marketing section visitors. So they have various sections as you can see, like software, web development, mobile development. Let me take marketing as one of the sections. So I go forward and say marketing section visitors. Then it will ask me that whom should be added. There are various conditions given out here. The first simple condition is that visitors of a particular page or visitors of a page which you would specify in the rule below, they should be added to the list. So it's a straightforward, simple filtering that you give the name of the page or section, and basis that that particular person would be added. Next is visitors of a page who did not visit another page. So in the second option, there is a condition given that, let's say, for example, someone has visited the marketing section, seen a couple of courses, and then bought a course. So, generally, there is always a change in the URL pattern depending on the activity that the user is doing. For example, here on Eduonix.tv website, when I am on the first home page of the site, the URL reads as Eduonix.tv. If I go forward and land in the marketing section, the URL changes to eduonix.tv/marketing. And then if any user would be even going forward and enrolling for a course, then again there would be a change in the URL itself. So there are multiple levels at which changes are happening, and basis that there can be a condition given that we need to target ads to visitors who have visited one of the section and indeed have not completed the purchase process. Mostly, for example, let's say, as we have seen in the URL patterns here, it's very much possible that someone visits a URL like eduonix.tv/marketing and has not completed visiting the particular URL of eduonix.tv slash enrolled in course. I'm just showing this as an example perspective that maybe this would be the final URL which could be seen once anyone enrolls in course. So if people have already enrolled in a course or made a purchase or have confirmed their order, then many a times it is not worthy to show them remarketing ads. So thus, it is a condition, a nice condition, which should be given when we are creating remarketing lists. So in this method, we can make sure that the ads are not shown unnecessarily. Similarly, there are even other conditions wherein we can target people basis specific dates. That is, when someone has, let's say, seen a mobile phone and the sale of that phone is ending just 2 days after they have seen it or in a particular time frame. Similarly, we can even target people who have visited multiple different pages, like people have visited the marketing section as well as people have visited the software development section of Eduonix website, and I want to show an ad which shows courses from both the sections. So that could also be done. And apart from it, there is even mechanism of using tags or indeed even creating a tag. What we can do with this is, apart from basic remarketing, here is an option of creating a new tag, wherein it will be creating a specific tag which you can implement on the site, and basis that you can capture users. Let me give you an example as to where tags can be useful. Let's say that you have three different domains or websites where you are selling your product, and therein you have specific similar sections, like let's say a website like eduonix.tv, eduonix.com, and maybe eduonix.us. If these three domains are almost selling the same product and I want to target the user who has visited the marketing section on all of these three domains, so in that kind of scenario I would require to create a different specific tag, and then the user who has visited those section on all the three websites will be shown my ad. So this is again an advanced method of marketing. As a startup point, the most basic and easy method to use will be option number one, about targeting visitors who have seen one section and specifying the rule about which section they would have viewed. Or at the maximum, we could be going with option number two, where we are targeting visitors who have seen one section and who have not yet purchased the product or confirmed the product. So, for example, here, let's say I want to show people who have been to the marketing section. So, the URL of the marketing section here is as follows: eduonix.tv/marketing. So, I copy that URL and say that people who have visited the URL containing this pattern, and say that people who have not landed or who have not gone to the page of confirming their order, which comes when someone clicks on this button of take it for free. There is the sign up page, and then someone can enroll here, and there they ask to register. So here, let's say people have visited the page but have not yet landed on the sign up page at all. Then I can give a condition number two, that show ads to people who have visited this page but have yet not visited the page which contains the URL slash sign up. So this is a prospective customer who can turn into a buyer, but I need to follow up with him or her using remarketing. So they are interested in a course, they have visited a section, and then it would happen so that in case they come back here and visit this section and click on enroll and enroll themselves, then automatically this ad will stop. So that's the condition specified here. Then there is the process of inputting the number of days, that is up to how many days do you want the user to be shown a remarketing ad. Now this would definitely depend on the kind of product you are selling. If you are selling a product which is having low price value, then you could be keeping lower time frame of 7 or 15 days. If you are selling a product like probably, let's say, real estate or even automobile, where the price of the product is more, you could be extending this up to time of even 3 months or 90 days, or sometimes even 99 days or something like that. So in this scenario, I'll keep a value of, let's say, 15 days. So past visiting the page, I keep on following up with them for 15 days. And then if I want, I can add a description to understand who are the set of people I am adding to it. Else, if I do not want to do that, I could go forward and click on save. And once that is done, there would be a remarketing list which we have created being seen here. It says that the type of it is rule based because we have given a rule to it, and the people who would be captured under this list are would be seen if it goes live. This is just for example purpose, but had the code been implemented of remarketing on that side, then this would have definitely past some set of hours would have shown even the output in terms of people captured through that condition we have given. That's the process of creating remarketing list. Then there is the next step of creating ads around it, and some more insights around other concepts which we'll see in the next tutorial. Thank you. Hello learners. Moving ahead with our example we had seen, here is some more clarity which I would like to throw around remarketing list. So just consider this scenario that we have created one list which is about marketing section of the site. Similarly, for this kind of huge website where there are so many multiple set of courses, there could be so many separate lists which could be created for all courses. So in all, there could be around more than 8 to 10 lists. If we give a count, software development is 1, web development is 2, mobile development 3, WordPress 4, marketing 5, graphic design is 6, office productivity is 7, system programming is 8, and certification courses is 9. So in all, there could be 9 separate lists which could be created, and all could be given a rule as to people who have visited only that particular list and have not visited the page where there would be confirmation happening for the course. To show you precisely the second condition, while I had shown you the condition where we land up on a page where it tells us to enroll or start our free particular trial. So that page is something like this. When I go to a particular section in the site and select one of the courses and then say take it for free, there is the page appearing of sign up. Once indeed anyone goes further and clicks on the enroll page and then enters their details, they indeed land on a page known as confirmation, which indeed has a pattern like this: eduonix.tv/library/confirmation. Thus, we could be giving this particular URL as the second condition. Thus, let me try and create one more list. Herein, I'll follow the same process but create it for another section. I would say website visitors, then name it as people who have, let's say this time, visited the section of web development. Thus, the URL pattern would be slash web development. I enter that URL out here. Thus, we give a condition that people who have visited this particular URL and people who have not visited till now the confirmation page or have landed on the confirmation page past filling the form and giving their details. Also, one more simple concept which I would like to share is about this second link which is there, which says that referrer URL contains. So this could be really useful when there are other sites from which people are visiting your website and you would like to show remarketing ads to them, or indeed there are other pages from which people are coming back to a particular URL. What I mean by that is, many a times when there is a requirement for doing payment in e-commerce scenario specifically, the user is redirected to the site. Like if you do a payment via PayPal, you need to go on the page of PayPal. If you do payment via your card, you need to visit the bank's page many a time. So in that scenario, you would be going to that particular site and then landing back on the website where you did the purchase. So in that scenario, if you are aware of a pattern which would be appearing on the page on the third party where there is payment happening, you could be even entering that condition. For example, in this scenario, if let's say there would be a condition happening as to that the payment would be happening on the site of paypal.com slash maybe order confirm, just for example purpose, then I would say that the person who has visited my site web development section but has not visited PayPal and completed the order. So you could do it both way, either specifying your website URL pattern, or in some case if you want to specify external websites URL pattern, that could also be done. Key integral step which I thought should be shared. Passing that, also to mention, we can have multiple rules being created together. That's one more power which is there. We can do so with the help of this plus rule sign. So let's say I want to count people who are visiting the web development section but have probably also visited the software development section. So I want to show my ads to people of two sections who are a bit more serious and thus have shown interest in both the sections together. So in that scenario, I could be using the power of this concept of URL contains, or not just URL contains. There are many different patterns in that. That URL equals, URL starts with, so on and so forth. So let me tell you what's the use of this. Many a times when there is some similar scenario happening in a particular website. Like here you can see in the site of Eduonix, there are four different courses all having the end name as development. Like there is software development, There is mobile development, web development, WordPress development, and the URL pattern is similarly the same. Like when it's web development, it's written as web hyphen development, so on and so forth. So, in this kind of scenario, if instead of creating four separate lists where I say that people who have seen web development page, or people who have seen software development page, or people who have seen maybe WordPress development page, I can use a simpler pattern in which I specify that any page which contains the URL in the form of development, go forward and target that page. So here, if condition could be that if the URL ends with a naming in the form of development as seen here, so I could be giving that the URL ends with the term development, then go forward and count all the people in this list. So this is indeed a very simple method wherein anyone who would have used filters in Microsoft Excel would be having an idea of what this mechanism is. Like there we have the ability to sort data like greater than value, less than value, equal value. Similarly here, basis the kind of pattern of the URL of a site, there is sorting happening which makes our work easier. So this is a great way when there are similar patterns happening. For example, for an e-commerce store, there could be a major section of electronics followed by subsections like TV, mobile, phones, etc. And the URL pattern there could be similarly something like this. Let's say example.com/electronics/TV or/electronics/mobiles. Indeed, I am trying to share that in that case, if there is a common pattern where all those products are falling under electronics, there could be just one single pattern being shared as a rule, and then basis that remarketing ads could be shown. To show the same here in a sheet, let me open this and explaining what I was trying to say, that if there is a site which has some common element into it, like maybe a pattern like this, and then there are various products which are followed by it in that pattern, then there could be a common scenario created only for that particular main URL, and then there could be other scenario following it. So this is something nice, innovative method being provided by AdWords for targeting similar list. So thus once we have understood this, we then need to go forward and let me save this list. So let's say Eduonix.tv pages with same URL pattern, or rather than pages I would say sections with same URL pattern containing development as a term, and then go forward and save the same. So this is one more rule based list which we have created, and similarly we could create a lot more. Now, once a list is created, the next set of process is quite similar what we have learned. We have to land in our remarketing campaign. So here is one more way how we can search for campaigns by clicking on the left hand side. This here I am in my campaign where I have my ad group of remarketing, or else I could click on this tab of plus ad group and create one more remarketing ad group, because this is targeted specifically basis a set of users and not going to be targeted in general to all users. So I name this as remarketing list for development related website sections. Then comes the part of bidding. As I have shared as in strategy, the bid for a remarketing campaign could be kept at a lower value, much lower value, in comparison to what we can keep for a search campaign. Also, clicks received through display ads or specifically through remarketing ads are something which, if in dollars, can mostly cost under half a dollar or cost less than 10 rupees in case of INR, Indian rupees. So here I would put in the bid as, let's say, 4 rupees. The best methodology to come to a conclusion of bid is through trial and error. If you get clicks in a bid at, let's say, just 25 cents or maybe like 4 to 5 rupees, it's good. If you don't get it, even past running the campaign for 1 week, you can go forward and raise the bid by 20-30%. But make sure not to raise it over maximum three-fourth of a dollar, means ideally not more than 70-75 cents, or not more than maximum 8 to 9 rupees. In that particular range, if you are not getting a click, mostly there is something else which you need to change in your campaign. I'll be talking about some strategy points regarding this in our further set of videos. But as a baseline here, point to remember is go forward and bid in a range under half a dollar or under 5 or max 7 rupees. So I'm selecting this bid. Then the next step is to select our targeting option. There we go forward on option 2 and select interest and remarketing. And here we would be shown the page to select a category in which we'll be selecting remarketing list. And in those set of list, we would be having the list which we created about URL pattern containing the term development. So what we do is, depending on the list we want to target, we click on this double arrow kind of icon, and ideally once we click onto it, the list is shown at the bottom. If the data is collected, it would be showing on the right hand side in the form of a Venn diagram as to what would be the max number of impressions, that is max number of times an ad could be seen with the help of that particular list. So that's something which is really nicely provided to us for estimating as to what could be the best set of results possible from ads which we show. Once that is done, we go forward and click on save and continue. Then there will be the same page appearing telling us to create an ad. We have indeed seen this process as to how we can make an ad by inputting set of images or even creating the headline and description. So I'm not going to go in much detail of creating that again. Apart from it, if we have an ad created by our internal team, we can go ahead and do that. One nice pointer to remember here is, in this ad we should be mostly talking about just the product which we have shown to the end user and not talking about what our overall business is all about. That should be something kept in mind. Thus here, if I'm creating an ad around development, I will talk about only development related products, and also make sure that apart from the previous price if seen by my end user, go forward and give some additional discount or some additional coupon so as there is a higher chance of conversion. These guidelines are to be kept in mind while creating an ad, and thus once we create the ad, we will go forward and save it. And once we have saved it, our ad group is ready for getting targeted and having the ads shown for people only who have seen the particular set of sections. Thus, with that being shared, we have understood nicely the process of remarketing list. Let's see further details in the coming tutorial. Thank you.